What's up, fuckers, and welcome back to another offseason rebuild here on NBA 2K22 Next Gen. Today, we're going to be using the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that has been in a rebuild for quite some time now, and our goal at the end of year number 3 is to get them a championship. So a very quick turnaround window here for us in Oklahoma City, but I think after what Sam Presti did and the assets this team has, it's very possible. So the only difference between this and a normal rebuild is we're actually starting in the offseason after the 2021-2022 NBA season. Obviously, I had to re-sim the whole thing. We're going to get into how that's going to work once we do get into the video, but I just want to explain the way that kind of the seasons are going to go for it. It's going to be off-season, season, off-season, season, off-season, season. So you get 3 off-seasons, which typically doesn't happen. You get 3 seasons, which always happens. But today, it's a normal rebuild besides that point, and I'm really excited for this one. And of course, this is only my second off-season rebuild, so if you guys have any other teams you really do want to see, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. And of course, while you're down there, if you're not done that yet, maybe hit that subscribe button, join the community. We would love to have you. And yeah, man, this is a fun team, young team, lot of assets, and I'm really excited to play around with some of those trade pieces today. I think this is going to be a good one. Let's get into it. So we're basically just starting from step 1 here in the 2022 offseason. We can kind of get into some player retirements. You guys want to see any of those at all? Hall of Fame inductees, Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, no surprises there. Both of their old OG teams, if you will. I almost had a stroke right there. Retire their respective jersey numbers. I obviously always go ahead and reject all league meetings. We'll hit the draft lottery. Now, obviously, these odds are going to be a little bit different. The Thunder are actually slotted to have that 4th overall pick right there. I think it actually says 12.5% on the one I found, but whatever. We'll see. I mean, we're technically in the right spot for their lottery odds right now, so whatever honestly happens, happens. We actually end up with that 4th overall pick anyway, so I'm not going to complain about that. I think it's a very realistic possibility in real life. Obviously, I had to resim the entire season because there's no start today, so that's kind of unfortunate. We will now hop into kind of some of the staff signing. I'm not huge on this. Mark's fine. I cannot pronounce his last name for the life of me, but I'll give him a year. No, he's on a 1-year deal here. I'm going to give him a shot. You know, he really didn't have a great roster moving forward last season. And honestly, I think this team's in a really good spot, as I've mentioned about 100 times. So, had to go ahead and change around some settings while we were simming the first season. We will now head in to see what the team is looking like. Obviously, this team is led by Shai-Gilgeous Alexander. They took Josh Giddey in the 2021 draft. He was number 6 overall. They have Lou Dort on this team. Isaiah Roby, Trey Mann, Darius Baisley, however you pronounce it, Derek Favors, Williams, Poku, Jeremiah Earl, Robinson Earl. That's just a lot. But yeah, there's some pieces on this team that are definitely expendable. I think somebody maybe like a guy like Derek Favors does definitely not have a long career here. He actually might be a free agent. Well, we will see. But again, we have so many different options. Obviously, it is now draft time. We have that 4th overall pick. It's weird. I don't typically draft very high in a lot of my rebuilds, so it's kind of cool seeing maybe the other side of this a little bit. And now we can look at the summary so far. Jabari Smith Jr. went 1, Chet Holmgren went 2, and Shaedon Sharpe, went number 3. So Paolo Banchero is sitting here. And, you know, I think he's a top 3 prospect. I think the top 3 prospects are Jabari Smith Jr., Paolo Banchero, and Chet Holmgren. That's just my opinion anyways. There's also Jaden Ivey sitting here. Fit-wise, we don't necessarily need a power forward. I mean, we have Baisley, we have Poku, but I think it would be dumb, in my opinion, to go up and pass on somebody like Paolo Banchero. So I'm going to go ahead and draft him. Do I have any other picks in this year's draft? So I have 15 from the Suns and 27 from the Clippers. I'm not going to use that 27th overall pick. I don't really feel as if I need it, so I will go ahead and use that 15 again. This is a young team, but you know, having as many assets as possible is always a really good thing. Keegan Murray, Terry Eason, Nikola Jovic, that's funny. I might just take him based off of the name, but position-wise, really doesn't fit. Matthew Cleveland, Caleb Houston's here. Marjon Beauchamp. Gene Montero, I feel like I've heard of him. I know that Peyton Watson's a 74, so honestly, that's not a bad overall to get at that number 15 spot. I'm actually going to go ahead and pull the trigger on that one. Welcome to the team, Peyton Watson. And I'm actually pretty happy with our 2 picks. So he's 79 overall, and he's actually 73, so maybe our scouting department's done. It doesn't have the best ratings, but honestly, that's fine. Banchero's 100% starting for us day 1 here. It's only a 3-year rebuild. We want to develop him as quickly as possible. Roby's coming back. Favors accepts that team option, and then Kendrick Williams will come back again. We are going to have a little bit of money, especially after we make a couple of these trades, so we could potentially make a splash. Lindy Walters III, I'm not going to lie, I don't know who you are. You're not going to be coming back on that qualifying. So free agency, there's obviously some talented players in this free agency class. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal, Ayton's here, Bridges is here. I got to figure out what I want and how I kind of want to go about this rebuild, because there's obviously so many ways. With a team like this, I could go out and spend some money right now. I technically have 25 mil. I could clear up the money if I wanted to go get a superstar like Kyrie Irving. But I don't know if I'm going to do that right now. I really don't. I think definitely maybe tanking one more year, because we do have that extra offseason that I typically don't have. Might not be a bad idea, and then maybe come next year we can start to spend that money, because a lot of these guys will still be on those rookie contracts. So if we got to break it down by position right now, Shai and Josh Giddey are 100% going to be in my backcourt. Most likely, I would say a 95% chance throughout the entirety of this rebuild that they're both there. I'm fine with Teo Malden as my backup point guard. Ty Jerome, I would be comfortable moving on from. Very happy with Trey Mann as my backup shooting guard. I'm a little iffy on Lou Dort starting. I kind of prefer him off the bench a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Maybe like somebody at that small forward spot that provides a little bit more scoring, if you will. But, he's not a bad backup option. I might consider signing maybe a decent veteran on a one-year contract and kind of going from there. I don't have a problem with Kendrick Williams, Aaron Wiggins, or Peyton Watson, but ultimately if we do end up giving that Lou Dort that backup small forward minutes, we really won't need any of those guys. Maybe we can maximize on some other assets. Poku, I don't hate him. I just think, now that we drafted Palabanchero, we still have Baisley sitting here. I think it would be kind of dumb just to keep him. What's the contract situation on both these guys? That's also going to play a factor into it. So Baisley's actually a free agent after this year, and Poku actually has another year. So maybe Baisley could be the one that I do end up moving right now. And then the center spot's something I'm still a little bit iffy on. That's another one of those positions that I'm like, I don't really know if I trust any of these guys in the long term. So that was pretty much a whole ass roster overview. We're now going to get into some trades, hopefully something with a little bit of significance. I'll see you guys with those moves. I'm going to try to do this deal here with the Boston Celtics acquiring Robert Williams, who's actually on a very team-friendly contract for the level of play that he is typically at. Darius Baisley and Isaiah Roby. Now let me explain some couple things from my thought process, if you will. These are two expiring contracts right here. We can go ahead and take a look, just double check that. I want to make sure my math is correct. Yeah, both of these guys are expiring. Robert Williams is definitely a better player than both of these guys. And he's also on a super team-friendly contract, which gives me a little bit of space to potentially go out into free agency next year and make a superstar signing. So that's kind of my thought process with this one. I'm hoping we can get this done without giving up too many picks. Robert Williams is probably a future Defensive Player of the Year candidate, if I'm being honest. His defensive value is so underrated in this league, and it still amazes me that people don't even know how good of a basketball player he is. But Robert Williams, officially the newest member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He will be our starting center most likely throughout the remainder of this video, again on that super team-friendly contract as well. So, Derek Favors, I'm probably going to get a first-round pick for. JRE, I can move on comfortably and keep him at the backup center spot and move on from Derek Favors, I'm fine at the power forward spot now. I'm probably going to go ahead and make a glance at free agency and see what some of these options are after I clear up some of these contracts. So I'll keep Williams. I'm going to probably move on from Wiggins and Peyton Watson. Again, Thunder fans, I do apologize, but I just really don't need these guys, and I'd rather have the picks. So I'll show you guys all the trades. Let's get into them. First trade here coming with the San Antonio Spurs. Derek Favors straight up for a first-round pick. I don't know who on planet Earth at this stage of his career would give up a first-round pick for Derek Favors. That's the first trade done. Next trade coming with the Memphis Grizzlies. Ty Jerome heading over to Memphis for a 2024 first and a 2024 second. I'm not upset about that trade at all. Again, we're kind of just acquiring assets and kind of moving along rather quickly. I don't really need many of these guys. That's kind of my thing. I think a lot of them do have potential. I just don't know if I have that timeline necessarily in a 3-year window to kind of maximize that potential. So I'll take the asset. I don't think it's necessarily a horrible idea. Maybe keeping somebody like Peyton Watson on the bench. It's not a terrible idea. Like, I could keep him. Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. Marcus Smart, that being said. 2 first-round picks. I'll keep Peyton Watson. I can move on from Aaron Wiggins. That's what I'm going to do. I don't think necessarily trading Peyton Watson's a horrible idea. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think in a situation like this, it's better to keep the talent on the bench because, again, we don't know how this year is going to go. So I kind of just rethought that out. I actually might go ahead and move on from Kendrick Williams now. Who's expiring. Maybe give Peyton Watson some minutes. It's actually not a horrible idea. What's the small forward market looking like? My thing is, like, I just wouldn't mind being like not a good team next year. So that's like my problem. Maybe if I give TJ Warren, I'll give him a 2-year deal. I actually don't mind giving TJ Warren a contract here. I think I'm actually pretty comfortable with that. Oh, he's right there. I'm like, where the hell did he go? TJ Warren, going to be on a 2-year deal, so he's not 100% going to be here past this upcoming season, but I actually like that fit a lot. So Kendrick Williams can go. Unfortunately, Peyton Watson's not getting any minutes now. We're still moving on from Williams, but we're just going to play, Lou Dort as that backup small forward spot. I don't mind that talent kind of coming off the bench. I think it's a good fit. He kind of runs that bench unit, if you will. I don't want to keep fleecing the Grizzlies. I'll fleece the Kings, pretty much the most respectfully irrelevant franchise in NBA history. But yeah, I'm comfortable with this team right now. It's probably not going to be a great team, but hopefully another developmental year, and then we'll spend some money next year. Hopefully Palabanchero can take that next step. Hopefully Josh Giddey can take that next step. Hopefully Shai can kind of lock it down for us as our star. I'm excited to see what this team can do. I'll see you guys at the start of year number 1. Start of the first season here in Oklahoma City, and this team's actually looking really good to me. I don't think we're necessarily a playoff team. I will say I've been surprised by 2K in the many years that I've been playing it a whole bunch of times. So maybe this team sneaks into a play-in spot potentially. Who really knows, though? I'm not going to get any hopes up. It's going to be shai-gilgeous Alexander, Josh Giddey, TJ Warren, Paolo Banchero, and Robert Williams here for year number 1 in OKC. This is a lot better of a team than I kind of originally mapped out in my head about how it was going to look, but I can take that. Still a lot of flexibility with this roster, and that's something I really wanted to keep intact throughout the early seasons of this video. The bench is a really strong point on this team. Trey Mann, Lou Dort, I can't pronounce his first name, Poku, Teo Malden, and JRE. I think this is a really good bench and a really good foundational piece moving forward. So I'm excited about this squad. I really don't know how the first season is going to go, but I can see us anywhere from a play-in team to the worst team in the West. So we will see. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 1. And the first season ends, and we are an 8th seed here in the Western Conference. So a couple years ago, we're in the playoffs. This time, we got to fight for our playoff spot. We are officially having home court advantage in our play-in game. Luka Doncic wins his first MVP award. I actually wanted to just talk about this. I saw a tweet the other day. It was really funny. It was like no game overhypes somebody like 2K overhypes Luka Doncic at the end of the season with some of these awards, which I never even really, I don't really blink twice just because I've seen so many crazy stat lines at the end of this. I've probably seen these, this screen on different 2Ks hundreds, if not thousands of times. And I just think it's funny that 36.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. I mean, this would be probably one of the crazier seasons in NBA history, excluding the Wilt Chamberlains and the Bill Russells of the world. But you know what I'm saying? That's just crazy. Luka's an unbelievable player, superstar talent, no doubt, top 10 player. I'm not getting into that, but that's a crazy stat line. It happens every year. Paolo Banchero, rookie of the year for us here in OKC, almost 17 points, 8.5 boards, 5 assists, 1.5-ish steals. We'll give him that extra point, 2 steals, and 1 block a game. Very happy about our pick right there. Ben Simmons, Brickleberry, 6th man of the year in Brooklyn. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Defense Player of the Year. DeAndre Ayton, Most Improved. Willie Green, Coach of the Year. When I actually had to sim the first season to get to the offseason, yeah, Pelicans won it in year number 1. Surprise, surprise, I know. Zion playing at his best, I guess, when there's no injuries on. We'll go ahead and take a look at the standings and our record-wise here in year number 1. We finished with a record of 37-45. I just think it's kind of funny how, those are some realistic records of playing teams. And, how are the Phoenix Suns and the Jazz and the Warriors so bad? That's crazy. That's what? 3 out of the top 5 teams in the Western Conference this year? What happened in that 1 year? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some stats right now. Shai's still doing his thing. Paolo Banchero emerging nicely as our second leading scorer. TJ Warren, Trey Mann, Josh Giddey, Robert Williams, Lou Dort. So, I don't mind getting this team another kind of scorer. I don't want to put a ton of pressure on Paolo Banchero. I mean, he's obviously doing his thing, and he's doing it comfortably as our second leading scorer, but maybe getting somebody off, not off the bench necessarily, maybe a small forward in the scoring department. I don't know exactly what this free agency class looks like, but again, we can kind of get into it once we are into the offseason. So we got Denver here in the play-in. I would like to win. I would not like to play a second play-in game. Jamal Murray, Will Barton, MPJ, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic. I'm not even going to get into the Nuggets getting just spanked by the Warriors right now, but that's a whole different conversation. We win our play-in game, and we are officially taking on the Memphis Grizzlies here in round number 1. John Morant, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, Brendan Clark. This is such a team that, I'm not going to say I saw it coming, but I don't think besides Grizzlies fans, many people probably saw, the sudden rise of the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, obviously, I don't know when this video is going to go up, but they actually have game 2 tonight against the Timberwolves, but they lost game 1, and I'm not going to say that it was, surprising, especially just watching some of it, but it wasn't exactly the Grizzlies team that I was expecting. We're not getting into that, though. This is a Thunder rebuild. It's actually funny enough you got that matchup right there in the second round, and yeah, the Pelicans are going to go on and win it. Yep. Man hasn't played basketball in who knows how long. He's 300 fucking pounds. 28 points a game, 9 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals, only half a block. Not something you'd expect from Mr. Zion Williamson. I'm not saying the dude's a bust. I'm just saying 2K overrates the shit out of him for somebody who should not be a 94 overall. And if I'm being honest with you, probably should not be in the top 5 of players under 25 conversation right now when he hasn't played basketball in a very, very long time. I don't know the exact date, so I'm not going to try to know it off the top of my head, but he has not played basketball in a very, very long time. And people still talk about him like he's the next coming of LeBron, which is just crazy. Sorry. Draft lottery time. Well, it looks like we have a couple picks in there. We have a pick from the Detroit Pistons. We have one from the Washington Wizards. I'm not sure the protections on those. We can find out, though. Thunder. I guess we have the 15th overall pick. I guess there was some serious protections on some of those picks, so which means we have their unprotected pick next year. All right. Coaching time. Stauffer's here. I mean, I'm never going to not sign Mike Stauffer. It's the coach. It's something you really never notice. It's not like when I just trade for a sign. It's a player that you'll always see. Mike Stauffer is Mike Stauffer. I'm sorry, Mark. I still can't pronounce your last name. I call him Mark D's Nuts. I wanted to get the better guy, and I think I accomplished that. So, whole lot of picks this year. And I'm going to keep it 100% honest with you. I'm not going to draft a single person. This team has so much young talent, and honestly, no matter who I draft, would not be starting or probably not even be on the bench. So I'm going to trade all these picks for future picks, and I'll see you guys with whatever does come next. We have officially traded all our picks in this year's 2023 NBA draft, and we have moved on. And we will now be heading into team player options. Giddy, yes. Man, yes. Poku, yes. JRE, yes. Teo Malden, yes. So we basically just got our whole bench back, plus Josh Giddey, which is absolutely sick. Qualifying, we have none. What I'm thinking about is this free agency class. Oh my God, LeBron's here. Imagine I signed LeBron James for a season. Okay, so cap space is something we're definitely a little bit worried about. If I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on trading TJ Warren, I definitely want to make the most out of it and dump the money and then go ahead and sign somebody. So, who would I sign? That is the question. Jokic is here. I'm not signing a 38-year-old LeBron James. I'm just not doing it. Now, my question is, would a guy? Okay, never mind. They're going to match a contract 100%. I don't know. I don't want Wiggins. Jordan Poole's here. That could be cool. It's just not really a fit and not really a need at that guard spot. Okay. I just like morally cannot talk myself into signing a 38-year-old LeBron James. I cannot do it. I could get him if I really wanted him, but I just think that's going to screw up the whole aspect of the team. This isn't a realistic rebuild whatsoever, but that just feels too crazy, too out of this world. If he was 34, I would consider it, but he'd also have some real contract offers if he was 34. So maybe targeting somebody like a Kristaps Porzingis and then maybe trading him wouldn't be that crazy. I think we could maybe get some more value for that than if we were able maybe just to trade TJ Warren. I'm not going to sign Jokic. We don't need a center, and he's going to go back to Denver anyways. Morant's restricted, and then, I mean, this is a big restricted free agency class. I mean, think about it. Kristaps Porzingis is technically the third best unrestricted free agent that's not named Nikola Jokic or LeBron James. So I am going to move on from TJ Warren. I do not think he's a long-term answer on a championship caliber team, at least with the way this roster is built at that small forward position. So we're going to glance at some offers. He does have 3 stars here. He's not a bad player whatsoever. I just think I can definitely maximize on it a little bit. Could go Jonathan Isaac. I don't really need him, though. We'll take this pick from the Lakers, an unprotected Lakers pick next year. And then there's some money down here. This is kind of, I don't know who EJ Liddell is. I don't really care who EJ Liddell is. I'm now going to test. Do I have enough money for Tingus Pingus? I do. I will sign him, and then I'm going to go. Oh, shit. Okay, did not realize Lou Dort was a free agent. So if I do this, I have 1.3. So I just need to trade somebody else. I did not realize that Lou Dort was a free agent. That is big. Peyton Watson, you were fun to have. Unfortunately, your time here has come to an end. I'm never going to give up a guy who's 6th, 7th man on this team for somebody who's not even playing, even if they do have a ton of potential. I am sorry. I just want a first round. I don't even need a player. Oh, for the love of God. All right, Azubuike, let me just keep rinsing and repeating this whole cycle that I seem to have to do quite often. Okay, Azubuike, can I get a first round pick for you? Is that a possibility? Thank you, Cleveland. Now I'm going to not renounce the rights on Lou Dort, who is he restricted? I don't think he is. He's unrestricted, so I need to make sure that he does not get a contract because I would like to re-sign him. Tingus Pingus is here. We will now re-sign Lou Dort. Thank God I noticed that. Thank God I didn't just click through and renounce the rights on him. That would have sucked. Lou Dort's officially back. He will be off the bench. I will now find a trade for Kristaps Porzingis. I know that's kind of the unrealistic aspect of these rebuilds. I'm not saying it's my favorite thing to do, but with a team in a situation like this, it's what I have to do. Let's get into the trade. This might turn into the worst experiment ever, but hell, I'm going to do it. I think Ben Simmons adds a layer of defense that this team really doesn't have right now. So Tingus Pingus, Teo Malden, over to Brooklyn, Ben Simmons, Gary Payton II. Welcome to Oklahoma City. Now, I'm going to move Ben Simmons to the small forward spot. He's going to go up to an 89 overall. I don't love not having shooting at that small forward spot, but it's kind of the way it has to go right now. Gary Payton II is going to get... He's 30? How long has Brill been in the league for? I'll be. I did not know that. He's going to get traded for a backup point guard. Pretty much the only position I do not have right now. And then we'll kind of refigure out how the rest of this is going to work after it because I don't love the fit of Ben Simmons, but it's kind of the way it has to go right now. I'd like to trade for a point guard that can really shoot the basketball well, like a lights-out three-point shooter. Like, if I get like Fred VanVleet, that'd be sick. But what's Caruso's shooting stats? I'm not 33. I think he was 38 before. It was 40%. All right, we'll take Alex Caruso. I just love Alex Caruso anyways. He also adds another layer, an element of defense too. So I'm comfortable with it. You know, we're not the best shooting team in the world by any means, but, you know, it is what it is right now. I will see you guys at the start. Year number 2. Start of season number 2 here in Oklahoma City, and this team is looking new. It's looking revitalized, and I'm really excited and think this team has a pretty good shot of making it pretty far in the Western Conference playoffs. It's going to be Shai-Gilgeous, Alexander, Josh Giddey, Ben Simmons, Paolo Banchero, and Robert Williams in the starting 5 for season number 2. Our bench unit remains very good. Trey Mann, Lou Dort, Aleka Poku, Alex Caruso's the new addition, and then JRE backing up Robert Williams. I'm excited to see what this team can do. I'm hoping we can be better than a play-in team this year, maybe all the way up to a 4, maybe 5 seed, something like that. I don't want to get too excited now. I will see you guys at the end of the second season. There are 2 first times for everything. We are a 1 seed here in the Western Conference, but more importantly, this is my first time, I think, ever in my however many years I've been doing this history, seeing Darius Garland win an MVP award. Congrats, bro. You earned it. Victor Wembanyama, your Rookie of the Year, is in New Orleans. Colin Sexton, 6th Man of the Year. I don't get how you're a 6th man with numbers like that. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Defensive Player of the Year. Jabari Smith Jr., actually, I guess Tyler Hero, but you know what I'm saying. Jabari Smith Jr., Most Improved, and Mike Stauffer, our head coach. We go 66-16. It's your Coach of the Year. I'm excited about this team, man. I really am. You know, we're 10 games up on the Pelicans, who are going to be a thorn in my side, pain in my ass, whatever you want to call it, just because of that Zion effect. But I'm pumped about this team. Shai, Banchero. So we didn't really add the next level scorer that I was necessarily looking for. We had a good defensive player and a good ball facilitator in Ben Simmons. So kind of went with the other route, and I think it's hopefully going to work. At least regular season-wise it did. Did not think this was going to be a 1 seed. Let's sim the first round. We got San Antonio here. DeJounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Dylan Brooks, Keldon Johnson, Mo Bamba. Interesting starting 5 over there in San Antonio. Still a relatively young team. I'd like to get by them with relative ease, though. That would be something I appreciate. We're up 3-1. 3-2. Okay, moving on to Golden State here in round number 2. Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Moses Moody. So they moved on from Klay Thompson, it looks like. They trade him for Clint Capella or Gordon Hay. I don't even know what the hell they did, but interesting. I just tweeted it, actually, at the time I'm recording this video. That Golden State death lineup that, I don't know, again, I don't know when this video is going out, that Denver has been getting throttled against is just absolutely insane, and I think that's going to cause a problem for a lot of teams in the future. We're up 3-2, excuse me, moving on to the West Finals, and here come the big bad Pelicans. CJ Herbert Jones. Isn't he a power forward technically? Am I thinking of somebody else? That's who I'm thinking of. I'm like, what the fuck? Who am I thinking of? Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Victor Wembanyama. Good team. Obviously doesn't, you know, I don't love that they added a Rookie of the Year too, but we're 1-1 with them right now. We're down 2-1. We're 2-2, so we got a best of 3 series officially here in the Western Conference. The Magic... I'm sorry, you don't even start your Most Improved player? It's a very deep team, don't get me... Holy shit, is it a deep team. Oh my god. How many guys do you have that should be getting minutes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't think they're running a 13-man rotation, but I can realistically see all 13 of those guys getting minutes on an NBA team. There's no way I'm losing to the Magic right now, right? We're up 3-1. We close them out in 5. Paolo Banchero, 21 years old, Finals MVP in 5 games. He averages 25 points, 10 rebounds, so averages a double-double at the age of 21 in the NBA Finals, given it was against the Orlando Magic, but still very impressive. We win in 5, and we're heading into our final season where the pressure's kind of off, if you will. I mean, there's obviously still an element and a level of pressure. I'd still like to win, but, you know, the main pressure's kind of off me, if you will. We are having that Clippers pick, and I believe Detroit pick as well. Yeah, we got 8 and we got 12, and I really don't want either of them. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I really don't. Let's head up to the draft. Maybe I can get a little bit of a better bench. I don't even know who's a free agent and who's not. That's going to be an... Oh, yeah, we got a lot of free agents now. It's... Holy... What... I don't know how many of these that I actually traded for and how many Sam Presti did, but my goodness, if this is an actual thing in 2-3 years that the Oklahoma City Thunder have, like... Obviously, they're not going to have this many draft picks, and even if they did, they wouldn't use all of these. But, like, you know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. This is going to take me forever to trade. I'll see you guys with whatever's next. So I will show you quickly how I just dismayed and got rid of all of those picks if you really want to see it. If you would like to pause the screen at any point, these were the trades that were made. It was only actually 5 trades, but... Yeah, I also traded all the players that I acquired. It was not fun to do. We had 9 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. That has got to be some sort of NBA record. I'm going to bring back Ooh, Ooh. Why is JRE regressing? He's young. Poku can get a qualifying. I would like to bring him back. I think he had some tremendous value to this team. This would have been a fun free agency to play with, but yeah, again, we don't have money now, and we really weren't going to wait anyways. So Poku can come. I'm not trading him. I'll just give him his qualifying. Still the great glitch that Chuki has. So Poku, come back to the team on your $7 million qualifying. We will now take a look at what this roster, the bare bones roster, if you will. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same. I might try to upgrade the backup point guard spot just because Caruso is regressing a little bit, and that will probably be our one and really only change we do make heading into this final season in Oklahoma City. So it's nothing against Caruso. I now look at how many picks I have right now. And it only goes to 2027. That is absolutely insane. It's insane. If this was like a 10-year rebuild or something, if I'm ever going to do a 10-year rebuild, I want it to be with this Oklahoma City Thunder team. David, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'll see you guys at the start of the third and final year. And for the final year in Oklahoma City, we are fresh off a championship. Our starting five remains exactly the same. Shai-Gilgeous, Alexander, Josh Giddey, Ben Simmons, Paolo Banchero, and Robert Williams. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had some doubts originally about the way this team was kind of going to work. Ultimately, we won a championship. So you can complain about it. You can make your statements about it. It worked. Wow, we just got Davion Mitchell. I feel like he was just kind of handed to us on a silver platter. He's going to be our new sixth man. It feels very criminal only playing him 22 minutes a night, but I don't need that many minutes of a backup point guard when I'm the best player on my starting five as a point guard. Poku here, Trey, Man, Lou Dort, and then JRE. This team should be going back-to-back. I'll see you guys at the end of the third and final season. Final regular season ends for us here in Oklahoma City. Once again, a one seed here sitting atop of the Western Conference, and it feels pretty good. LaMelo Ball, your MVP. Very solid year from him. Ron Holland, Rookie of the Year, is in Chicago. Dyson Daniels, also in Chicago. Sixth Man of the Year. Giannis wins another Defensive Player of the Year. Fortunately, this year in real life, it was Marcus Smart. Not a big deal. Nikola Jovic, Most Improved. We couldn't draft him at the time. We didn't really have a fit or a need for him, but congratulations nonetheless. We go 68-14 this year. Stauffer goes back-to-back in the Coach of the Year department. All right, standings. 9 games ahead of the Golden State Warriors. Memphis is here. Denver's here. Take a look at the East real quickly. Maybe got a potential rematch there with our friends in Orlando in the NBA Finals. Banchero actually led us in scoring. He is emerging as a superstar. Shea, Josh Giddey, Ben Simmons, Trey Man, Poku, Rob Williams. Very happy with the outcome of this team. I really am. Rebounds and assists if you want to see it. All right, let's see him in the play-in. We got Minnesota here in round 1. D'Lo, Jaden Hardy, Anthony Edwards, Cameron Johnson's a new addition. Karl Anthony Towns. Well, they got Christian Wood coming off the bench. Interesting lineup over there in Minnesota. We're up 3-0 on them, though. We end up sweeping them, getting by them rather easily. Moving on to Denver, Murray, Buddy Hield, MPJ, Isaiah Stewart, and Nikola Jokic next to each other. I feel like oops, did not mean to do that. I feel like Isaiah Stewart's more of a pure center. Just kind of my take on it. And we're just running through teams. We really are. Houston here, the 7 seed in the Western Conference Finals. Fultz, Jalen Green, Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jovic, Isaiah Roby, Josh Christopher. We swept Jokic. Can we sweep Jovic? Try saying that 5 times fast. We're up 2-0. We're up 3-0. Oh, my God. Thanks for coming. Moving on to Cleveland. MVP Darius Garland and the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be taking us on in the NBA Finals as we do look to go back-to-back. Evan Mobley's progressing quite nicely. We'll go game by game. We lose our first game of the playoffs in the NBA Finals. How many teams can say that? We're up 3-1, 3-2. Don't do this to me. And we win our second championship. And Shai-Gilgeous Alexander wins Finals MVP this year. Cool. That was fun. That was really cool. I think this team came out really fun. Taking water for the outro. Yeah, overall wise, I kind of like doing these offseason rebuilds, especially with teams like the Thunder who just have so many assets. And, you can honestly go so many different routes with them. I think I took the route of, I didn't really sign any superstars. Not that I didn't have the money. I probably could have signed a Kyrie Irving or a Bradley Beal or a Zach LaVine in that year 1 free agency, but I think it would have kind of thrown off the way I kind of wanted to build this team. So I'm kind of happy we kept a lot of the core pieces around, even though we traded some of them, but overall wise, I was happy with it. I'm excited to continue doing off-season rebuilds. As I mentioned, I graduate now in 31 days. So that sucks. But yeah, we'll be getting more into those. Daily uploads will be back in 31, 32-ish days. So I'm really excited for that. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to that as well. Let me know any other rebuilds you have down below in the comments section. Of course, you guys are new around here. I'd love to have you join the community. Hit that subscribe button. Other than that, that wraps up this one. This is my second off-season rebuild, and this one was a success. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. See you guys all in the next one.